band in Trinidad.
Yo.
Yeah. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
God damn it.
Hey, bad boy.
You know we crazy. Hey.
This is Burdie.
This is Barney.
And this is the Burdie and Barney Show. Today we have with us Presentation College San Fernando head coach, former national youth team coach and women's team coach. Definitely one of the more celebrated youth coaches in Trinidad and Tobago, Shawn Cooper. Say hello, Shawn.
Good night to you and your viewers.
Yeah. What about Barney?
When you say you, it was encompassing both of us. Cooper, shame out. Let me talk to you.
Barney, we forced to acknowledge Barney.
boy. I real grinding people, boy. I quite over in Taiwan and I grinding people, boy. It's amazing.
Shawn, before we came on, we were speaking about the fact that you are the only coach to win the Intercol with 2 different teams. Well, tell us about the challenge there. You know, it's why you think that's never been done before. How tricky was it in both cases?
Well, the first case, being a W Connection youth coach, David John Williams, being a old NAPS boy, he decided to lend his coaches to the school program.
Right.
So Curtin Beard, Dunstan Williams, and myself were his contribution to the school as a old boy for the football season.
Yeah.
But I, being a pressman, it was a bit ticklish. Seeing that, you know, very close rivals. It's like Barcelona, Real Madrid.
So you didn't kiss the badge and thing?
No. I never kissed the NAPS badge.
I'd say it was always my dream job to coach Naparima. You know, the usual thing.
No. It wasn't. Yeah. Actually, I went with 3 players to England, 3 W Connection youth players, and when I came back, David told me to go and assist Curtin Beard. Okay. So Curtin was the head coach of W Connection on the 20s at that point in time. I think he was the coach of Kenwin around that time.
Okay.
Well, Kenwin left and went to Sunderland, but Kenwin was on that U team, and I was the head coach of the U15. So I went across there and I spent 2024, not 2024, but 2004. I joined the Naparima program, and I was the assistant to Curtin until 2006. So then I was at the helm, and Dunstan became the assistant coach because Curtin left for Texas. Okay. And he migrated. So I started the program. We had a good rapport. When I say we, myself and the Naparima crew, because back in the day, the guys who were controlling the Naparima team were my rivals when I was playing at Presentation College. So we were friends. Okay. So, you know, it was an easy transition to get in.
So who are those guys?
It was Katik, Faris Khan, to name 2. They were the 2, you know. Dunstan was there also. But at that point in time, you know, Dunstan and I were very, very, very close because Dunstan was the captain of Naparima and I was the captain of Presentation. Yeah. So, you know, from a young age, we always had that brotherhood going on, you know.
What position
Dunstan was a stopper, but he was a smooth, same personality, smooth on the ball, you know, something like, what I should say, like a Maguire. a a ball player, but not aggressive.
Yeah.
He was cool and calm. I don't think he was slow as Maguire and made the amount of mistakes, but he was a ball player. So let's say Rio Ferdinand then. Let's say Rio Ferdinand.
Everything is about Manchester. Oh gosh, this not
Yeah,
eating
because-
already, boy. This not
Yeah,
eating already.
both of us are supporters of Man U.
Well, I had to say
Dunstan
which
Hold on, Dunstan too?
Yes.
Where's this thing deep, boy? This
so Sean, I had to
This
ask which player you like. Who was your
On-
player
on
now? And the man
No,
you
well-
think-
well-
Bailey?
No, I grew up watching Manchester United in big league soccer. You know, when it had Gordon McQueen and McLeish and those guys.
yeah.
And Pallister, Gary Pallister and they. But actually, I was a Bayern fan also, because remember, they had the Bundesliga going on. I think I'm going a little too far, because you guys may have been
No.
toddlers back in those days.
I old enough to know what you're talking about, partner. This was you just had to ask me about football, so you're good with,
Yeah.
you're good with
No
me.
no one told you about it.
But here
I
this,
think Barney generation is Carlos Alberto one thing, but go ahead.
you're a fool. Hear this now, Sean. I don't want you to stray off into nonsense, which is the same as saying straying off into Manu. I want to hear
Right.
the Naparima presentation story. So let me
Right,
Dunstan and you
so-
there, right?
Yeah, so we had what we tried to do was actually got the boys to play football on a more regular basis. So we encouraged the boys to join the W Connection Club, so we could have had them for their football development year round.
Mm.
And I think that was the advantage we had on the other teams. I don't think the other teams had gone that way as yet, having a pro team as a feeder for the
Or the
school
other way
team.
around. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so well, yeah, the other way around. But we actually adopted Naparima College, so we try to encourage the boys to come over, because there were other boys who were at W Connection, but they played with Karipachima. So Karipachima, when Karipachima and Naparima actually meet, it was like a real W Connection rivalry.
Yeah.
Because it's both sets of W Connection youth players meeting.
Yeah.
But the Naparima job, it's like any big team. You need to win to keep your job.
Mhm.
You need to win to keep your job. They demand excellence, and their old boys following is very, very big. They put a lot of money into the program.
Mhm.
So when other teams may have problems with players not getting fit, Naparima will just send them to Dr. Babua or get them to some medical facility. And as you know, most of the doctors in San Fernando are napsmen and presmen.
Mhm.
So it is a quick coming off the medical bench and straight onto the field. So we didn't have that problem. So it was interesting, but it was intense, because every game the supporters wanted you to win every game and win by large margins.
Yeah. Now you coach youth football, senior club football, national football. Which football is the most demanding between school football and senior club football, and I suppose even national football? And why?
Well, three of them are different.
Okay.
Three of them are different in the sense that when I started coaching youth football, again, young coach from the country, coming from Santa Flora, going to Cuba, and it's a big club, new club, W Connection. People expecting, the expectation is high. And if you know Stuart Charles demands excellence on the play. At the youth level, sometimes he is not so much worried about the score line, but he's worried about the quality of play. So we were the only club back in those days actually videotaping the games. So I used to be very hard on the players, being a disciplinarian, and needed the gameplay in a particular way. And not only that too, it's because of my profession. Being a Royal Bank Estate Police, we took our job seriously. We were highly trained, and that spilled over to my normal day living. So it went over to the football, and I think it did well, because at that age, youngsters need to be, a father figure, somebody with discipline, and get them to play in a particular structure. So after a while, Stuarty told me, say, hey, hold up. He said, I don't want you to look at the game and judge the game while the game going on. He said, I want you to go back and look at the videos, and then you could be able to assess the performance of the team. And this was a bit of education I got from Stuart Charles, because actually when I was chastising somebody, when I say chastising, demanding, performances, patterns of play, back then we had patterns of play. W Connection played in a particular way. We played 3-4-3 back in those days, and we had to play in a particular way, because I know Stuart will pull me Monday morning and say, look, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I thought I had reached a stage that I don't think Stuart should be coming to, be a TD over me. So I wanted it to be, as we say, down pack. And when I looked at the games were terrific. We were playing. Those days we were beating Jablote like our sons. I don't know if you have a son. I know Barney only have girls.
I have a daughters as well, but yeah.
Right. So, we used to be beating those teams, going and coming, until Angus came, he got his fair share also. And I think that is where the rivalry came in from since then, because they brought him now to try to bring some stability to Jablote. He got his share too, and he got his fair share of winnings also, But then we go into the colleges league now. We said senior. Well, I'm gonna go to the U17 first.
Okay.
National football, youth football is very much different to youth football in our country or in the Caribbean. When you play CONCACAF football, you have two different things you're looking at. You're looking at your technical speed. You're looking at your tactical awareness. So the technical speed is something that we are accustomed playing at, let's say, 20 miles per hour. But when you go to CONCACAF, the Mexicos, the Costa Ricas, the USA, they try to carry the game to a level where your technical speed will be at fault. So you'll be able to give them the possession of the football, and they could take control of the game. Sitting and brainstorming some of the Mexicans on a tour we had in New Jersey. I get to realize that the Mexican players don't actually play youth football. What they do is they go to school. Let's say Monday to Wednesday, and from Wednesday to the weekend, they will go to their professional clubs, and they will train there and then get back to the school. So when we go to CONCACAF and you are seeing a player playing with Naparima College, Presentation College, when you go to and you look at the Mexican roster, you're seeing Monterrey, Guadalajara. So you're actually playing against a professional youth player. So it's much different. If you have never coached in a CONCACAF game, you don't have an idea what CONCACAF football is like. because I told Barney this, because it's like you're taking a form 4 teacher, and because that form 4 teacher did well with the students, they went up to 5, and the students got, let's say, a couple of 1s and stuff. But taking that said teacher and put them to teach at A levels now, it's a totally different ball game now, because they are accustomed at that level. Yes, but when you go to the CONCACAF level now, it's a different story where I think you need a couple of years in CONCACAF to actually understand it and being able to coach in it. So it's not something you could just jump into and say, I did well in youth football and I'm going and coaching national senior team or the junior team, and I'm going and I'm trying to qualify for a World Cup, or, it's a totally different story. So I know you'll have questions concerning that, but the senior football now, it's a different thing. You're going to get, you're coaching senior players, and senior players know the game. So they will know if you are bluffing. So you come up, like, for instance, we had Johanse, George, and De Silva, and they actually came to Barney and I after and said, we're comfortable with you all, because from what we were hearing and what we see now is 2 different things. But we had what we had in the locker, but to bring it out, if you don't need to bring it out, why you bring it out? You understand what I'm saying? It come like you're wasting coaching, because you're actually coaching a fit match team, a glorified fit match team, who wants to be a big team, and then professional footballers come now, and then the whole environment changed, and then it became like a semi-professional team. Right. And then you could have seen the players now looking to see what adjustments you're making while the game going on, what are the coaching sessions like. So players, senior players, could make you out if you're bluffing as a coach. In the first week, they'll make you out. So that's the only difference. Some of them feel they know the game, but they know about playing the game. But actually, coaching is a different thing. So that's the only difference in the seniors.
All right, and the pressure as a school coach, or let me say as a NAPS or presentation coach.
Well, believe me, when you had presentation again, is excellence, because you're competing against different sporting disciplines. So let me give you a little story. There was a youngster by the name of Zarek Wilson. I don't know if you knew about that guy. He's a youngster a character swimmer. He's a swimmer.
So listen, I would know these things. He doesn't really deal with sport. I would know that. Yeah, go on.
So Zarek Wilson, from January to February, will go into this age group swimming and come back to school with 11 gold medals. So then he set the bar. So every sport and discipline now in the school have to trump and follow suit. So I will go to his father and ask him, I say, big man, what you're really doing to me? Because the next sport and discipline is football. So the expectation now is that every time players go on the field, they expect a victory or they expect trophies. So you now have to deliver. Again, if you don't deliver, it's not like Fatima where the parents will come and tell you who to play and who you shouldn't play and sort of thing. we don't have that problem. We don't have the problem with that kind of interference.
We don't have that problem at Arima either. We don't have that problem.
Barney don't have the estate police look, Sean. So it's be a little,
Yes.
Ari mentality though.
But then again, all I ask them is that the last game you coach, if a parent come to me, I'll ask them, the last game you coach, what did you do? Obviously, they never coach.
Yeah.
So you can't come to me and tell me what to do and what not to do. I am answering to the person who paid me and the old boys. So I have a lot of strain because I will have my schoolmates who were players, and they will be in North America and they'll be asking, hey, Coops, what's going on with the team? We hearing this, we hearing that. So there is pressure. There is pressure to deliver. So I normally play the poker game with Barney. When he asks me what's going on for the next season, I tell him I do have a team.
Every year, this man crying all February.
No.
Boy, Sheppy boy. It's only 1 year. The man cried, and it was a real cry. 1 year. That was 2015, I think. 2015 or 2014.
Because
when they called the team, the set of national players went away. And they were struggling.
And the others, not only that, the national players went away, and the other players went Italy with W Connection team.
So that's the only year the man ever come with any truthful story, boy. The man would, the man would in the league and crying.
No, but Lasana, you have to learn to play the poker. If you don't play the poker in the game, you have to let the opposition, let down the armor a bit.
I remember a story. I remember a story. I think it was Damian Duff giving a story. They played Brazil a practice game, and he ran and his boot come off on the field. So he turned around to go back for his boot. I think it's Junior Byron pick up the boot. So he said, okay, thanks. And Byron take the boot and pelt it off the field.
Well, Cooper.
They realized them fellas. And that was a friendly match. So, all right. So you want the Junior Byron, no one coaching. All right, go ahead, Cooper.
No, but really and truly, what happens, Lasana, because our methodology in the coaching at Naparima and at presentation, what the way we start our program, it's much different. Sometimes some of the teams in Port of Spain or in the East. Because we had Jeff working with Barney, and when Jeff come back, Jeff said, them Fatima players can't go through what these men going through here, because we try to pack everything in, that periodization, we try to pack it in, and it so happens that every time we have some sort of season, I would go on a course. So I will learn something new. So I'll get to implement it. So while the season going on, I'll try it. And then the players buy into it, So I was at an advantage because again, it's much different, I think, at Fatima or St. Mary's or QRC. When a guy is in presentation college, he knows that he has to deliver. Otherwise, he ain't seen the football field. There are nobody coming to say, I donated this and my son should play. You're playing because you deserve to play. So the effort and the consistency in the training, we don't have to ban nobody. Men come out and play.
I guess this is presentation and so on and Nap's time now, because I mean in the 80s and the 90s and so when they meet the Saints, they were in trouble, But yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah, it is a cycle.
I think it's gone beyond a cycle, and I said that before. It's beyond a cycle because Naps and Prez take the game to where it's supposed to be in terms of the preparation and everything like that. Again, from working with Cooper, I know the work that they put in, right? I know the work that Naps put in as well. And it's on a different level. It is almost year-round in that you may not be at Naps, but you're at Club Sando. You may not be at Press, but you're at W Connection. You're playing football all year round. Bring that now to a school I coached in the past, right? You may not be there, but you're playing Republic Bank. You're playing Republic Bank for 6 weeks, however, and somehow or the other, playing Republic Bank makes you a superstar and makes you ready. Secondly, so you don't come to your school training to go to play Republic Bank, which is a lower level of football. One. Two, you don't come to your school training because you're going to a tour of Canada to play not against Canadian top clubs or anything, but against it's some twinning tour between cities.
Right? You're getting Barney flashbacks here, but you're gosh boy.
No. Forget that. We talking about the thing. So you see there already the disparity between the programs, right? You see the disparity between the programs. You see the money that the presentation and the NAPS, for example, old boys make available to these programs because success allows that to go. So is a disparity. NAPS and Press are operating at a level which I think everybody needs to try to get up to. And if everybody gets up to that level, then the whole youth football rises. But some people want to be good in the backyard alone and say that they're good instead of going out there and proving they're good. And that's the difference. That's the difference. So it's no longer, it used to be a cycle when we played. When we played, you had your presentation had a strong team for a year, and then Fatima had a strong team, Mokrapo. It went around like that because Trinidad is a small nation, so you have the talent all over the place. Now the talent being married to a different level of, I want to use the word professionalism because it isn't, but a different approach to development and a different approach to what's expected. So NAPS, Press, gone. St. Anthony's is the closest, St. Anthony's, and then Sawa, I think, are the other two programs closest to them, and it have a gap between them. If NAPS and Press do dot the I's and cross the T's on particular seasons, then these two could rival them because, again, the talent is there. But once NAP and Press have the business in order as they do, then there's a gap to the rest.
Yeah. But I think it has something else that, Lasana. It has to do with the boys, the way how they are brought up. Okay. I think when they are from the schools in the north, the prestige schools in the north, I think most of those boys, they're well off. So they're just playing the football. Some of the boys in South, they actually playing to get somewhere. They're playing to get out of somewhere. So they are like the Central American youth players, the Mexicans, the Guatemalans, the Costa Ricans, they're trying to get somewhere because of the position of their family, because most of the boys are single parents. So you have a certain motivation. I want to do this to get my mom or my brother or my sister out of the situation they are. And it starts from then. And I try to push that mentality, that family. I try to push. You're playing for your family name on your back. The school second, the badges second. So once let the boys know, hey, don't disappoint your mother, don't disappoint your father. It's a different thing that when your mother and your father come and they change 2 pairs of boots before the half finish, and then they throw a Gatorade for you and that kind of thing, and they feel nice. The Fatima feel and the St. Mary's feel nice and smooth. Yeah. We training, we call our field in school is San Siro. So you playing on a sand pitch and you go to Port of Spain and you seeing lush green fields. You know what's happening? The question the guys ask me is, Coach, which field we playing on? That, Lord Father, That's the kind of communication you're getting from them. So they are eager to go and play. So, you know, and then again, coaching for a while, you get to know the styles of the other coaches, what they will come with, you know, who are the key players, you know. So if you're at a certain level, you know, like my partner Barney tried to match me. I changed my system and he go on and play the same system, so we will nullify each other on the football field, you know. But that is more like it, more like it.
And of course, you were Barney's first head coach, right? You
yeah, well,
responsible for this thing, so you had to take ownership.
No, well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that he started and he was interested, and the first thing I told him was, Sheppy, go and do a coaching course.
This was at what team?
When we was at Queen's Park.
Yes.
You know, I told him, I say, Sheppy, go and do a coaching course, because I started showing him different sides of the game, what, you know, the normal coach don't look at, the fine details.
Yeah.
And then when he came back from the first course, he said, boy, Coops, you know, the same thing you tell me is the same thing those guys doing. You know? So if I am having somebody at the side of me, I need that person at the side of me, very knowledgeable, to see what I am not seeing in the heat of battle. So sometimes you might be focusing on something, and then he may be able to see something. And I always say, one man don't coach a team. He knows that. He knows that. I don't coach like if I have an assistant coach. I coach like if it's two head coaches on the bench. Because 2 eyes, 2 brains are better than one. At the end of the day, I am the processor. All the information comes to me, and then I will, you know, give the players the instructions.
Yeah.
So it's important to have somebody. So as it went along, he started teeth a little couple things. You know, he started teething a little couple
like
things.
that.
But my father always told me that if you have an understudy, go teach him everything, because one thing will take it. So I always keep a little thing in the fobs, a little, you know, some little crib notes pull out, you know. But it's all good and fun. So my boy did well. He did well.
So Coops, when you're talking about players, right? Some of the players they coach too hungry to get something out of football. Now, 2 boys right now doing very well outside, and both of them passed through you. If you could tell us a little bit about what their development was like with you and what you saw in them as young players. One being Keston Julien, and they might have been proud seeing him the other day playing against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And the other one being Levi Garcia, who is you know, one of our outstanding national players right now. What is their backstories?
Well, they are much more than that. You call 2.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But there's Riley, and there's also the one that passed away. Akeem
Adams.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, well, but let me deal with Levi. Let me deal with Levi first. If you know, Levi lives about 5 minutes from Miami.
Okay. As walking or driving?
Walking.
Okay.
Yeah, I could just walk out the road and you know.
That question there, Cooper, just tells you about this guy. That's the epitome of laziness. So, me and you know is walking you're talking about. Trinidad know that, but not us. Go ahead.
Trinidad and not Tobago, because if at Tobago, they'll tell you 5
Tell
minutes.
you 5 minutes. Oh, that's not the difference. That's not the difference. You need to drive. You need to drive that.
So actually, I was introduced to Levi by his elder brother, who I also coach at Palo Seco Football Academy.
That's who? That's Brent? Is it Brent Garcia?
No. Brent are their relatives. We call him Spanish. So there's 4 brothers. Levi, it's Nathaniel, Judah, and the elder one, we call him Spanish.
Okay.
So it's 4 brothers,
Yeah.
right? So Spanish came to me and he said, Coach man, you know, it have one here. He say, I know you carry up this one and that one and thing. He said, but you know, I carried Nathaniel at W Connection. And he wasn't too comfortable. You know, country boy, he went up there the first morning and I carried him. He was playing with Cox coaching school. And they say he was one of the top players there. And I took him up there and he wasn't too comfortable. So after that day, he never really went back at W Connection.
Right. Because he's a gifted player as well. But yes.
Very gifted, very gifted. So I went out the road looking at some small goal and Spanish called man. He said, Coach man, I wanted to look at this little one. So I said, which one? He said, this little black one here. Because the other 3 were red and Levi was dark skinned.
Yeah.
So he said, I said, that's your brother? He said, yeah. He said, Coach man, this little one different. I say, all right. He said, Coach man, he are real touches.
And how old he was then?
He probably was about 9, 8, 9.
Okay.
Probably about 8, 9. He said, Coach man, this one different. I say, okay. Actually, the said thing they said about Judah, you know, but going back to Levi, so Levi went to Shiva Boys, but again, Shiva Boys, the area where that school is, you know, they call it Dog Patch.
Yeah.
And Dexter Francis was coaching them back then. Dexter, being a soldier, yes, I thought he might have been a little stricter with them. But he had them, you know, talented players and used to give them, for me, a little too much leeway, you know? So I don't think Levi was as disciplined as he should have been. Anyway, he got selected. He got selected on, I think was on a 30-man squad. And we were breaking down the squad to 24 to go to Costa Rica. No, okay, Colombia. We were going Colombia.
This is on a 17?
Yes. Well, that time it was 15 going to 17 because we were preparing for the CONCACAF.
Okay.
So it probably was about 16. So we doing some weight training. The way how it was, we split up the group in 2. We had the South guys, South Central guys, training at St. Michael's gym. That is a gym, one of Praise gym. And we had the other guys in Port of Spain training in the Hisley Crawford Stadium. Because of transport, we had some problems with transport back in those days. Yeah. They weren't paying the drivers and stuff. So we had to make do with what we had.
We didn't have the police bus them days.
No, we didn't.
Stay away from that. Stay away from that, Cooper. Stay away from that.
Yeah, go so ahead. Unfortunate. Because I might have to select players. But in saying so, we're doing weight training on the weekend, and one Sunday Levi failed to show up. Now I talking about that was one of the most talented youth teams I think we had in recent times. We had Levi, we had Ikem, we had Froggy, we had Cicharan on the wings. So we had real good wingers back in those days. And then you had some others.
Garcia, of course, yes.
Akeem Garcia, yeah. So it was very tight. Then you had this boy Ronaldo Francois. Right. So it had some good youngsters coming up. Had some good youngsters. Ronaldo was a youngster back then. But anyway, Levi failed to show up two weekends. Now when I asked him, I say, Levi, why you didn't show up? He said, Coach man, I went to church to meet my my godmother. Not my godmother, my godmother. Yeah. I say, for what? He say, I went to see if I get money to buy some things to go Colombia. I say, oh, you selected on the 24 already? Yeah. I say, you sure you going Colombia? I say, so you missed my 2 sessions, my 2 weight sessions to go Colombia? I say, all right, here what's going on. The next 2 Sundays, go to church, don't come training.
Mm.
And I give him a little rest. So I cut him from the team. Well, it was the best thing I did because Dexter Francis came back and he asked me, he said, Cooper, what you do, Levi boy? I said, nothing. I said, I do what you didn't want to do him. I said, I discipline him. I said, because he's more interested in doing other things than coming and train. I said, all these things could come after. But if we only doing weights on Saturdays and Sundays, I think you could go by your godmother on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but not on my Saturday and Sunday. So anyway, Dexter told me that before Shiva Boy started training, an hour and a half, Levi will go out there and do his personal work every day. You see, he'll go and run, he will go and do this, he'll go and do that. So it actually gave him a bit of motivation because we sacked him from the team. He was cut from the team. So the team went and came back. So I was looking at him now to see if he had it in him to come back with that sort of that passion and that desire to actually make the team. And he came back. He came back and actually we were playing a practice game in the Hazley Crawford Stadium. And Ross Russell was sitting at the side of me. And someone made a clearance going down the line. And Levi was sprinting going down the line to try to take down the ball. And Ross said, you saw that? I said, no, I just watched the man kick away the ball. I just turned my head when I see kick away the ball because he could have played simple. I don't know why he played the ball right down the road. Next thing I see Levi traveling with the ball. So I said, what happened? He said, boy, the man jump in the air and take it down on his instep in full flight. I said, what? Him. We can't leave Levi out the team, you know. I said, all right, partner. I said, that is your call. I said, that is your call. You are one of the assistant coaches. I said, that is your call if you think he's good enough. Because you see, I actually try to be very, very transparent when I select a team. Because people tend to think that is the same mindset that the South coaches have when it was back in the day when it was North coaches. So South players used to complain about North coaches not playing them. And now I'm at the helm, and when you look at a lot of people from the South on the staff, they will feel that, you know, the North boys are being victimized in some way. So I actually used to get the parents involved. So one day a parent came to me and said, Coach, you know, I don't like what you're doing. I say, you don't like what I'm doing? No, she called me on my phone because actually she was a co-worker of mine. And she said, I don't like
what you're doing. I feel safer to call you too. I would not feel safe to tell you that in person. So go ahead.
Because I'm not the best person to talk to when training going on, especially a parent. So she called me and she said, you're only picking South guys on the team. I say, really? I say, okay, all right. So I waited till Saturday, and she didn't know the kind of individual I am. So the Saturday morning national team training, I call in all the parents. Calling all the parents, I calling all the boys. I split up the place in about 5. I made 5 sections. So I said, morning parents, I received a call from a parent and they thought I wasn't selecting people from the North or people from wherever. They thought I was, you know, biased towards South players. So I said, so this morning we have 24 players here and I want the players to go in their zones. So I say, how much South players it have? Go here. I say, Central players go there, East players go there, North. So actually now when it finished, it had 5 players from Central, 4 from Port of Spain, about 6 from the East, and then it had Northeast and Tobago and all of that. It had 4 people from South.
Yeah.
So I told her, I said, I know some parents think anything south of the Caroni Bridge is considered south. say, but no, that is central. I say, so now as I'm telling you all that a parent called me, I'm not identifying the parent, but a parent called me and told me that I'm biased towards the South. So I'm letting the person know that there are only 4 South players here. And I hope all of you all are comfortable. And I walk off and I leave that. And all that South and North and talk, cut from them. Because I don't see South, North, whatever. I see players, because at the end of the day, when the team plays bad or don't qualify, is the coach that the coach head they're going at, not who from South or whatever. So I try to be as transparent. Even my son, last year, or well, I can't say last year, 2019 season, he told his sister he don't like how Pops operating with him. So my daughter came and she told me, she said, Pops, you know, he don't like how you're treating him, you know. I say, how I treating him? I ain't playing him enough. I say, I ain't playing him enough. I say, you know me better than that. I say, when he's on the football field, he's a player. I do see my son. I say, when he comes into the car, I'm his father. When I reach home, I'm his father. But when he's on the football field, he have to play for his position. And he ain't getting no breaks from me. I might treat him harsher than the others because I expect him to be of quality. If he up to the standard, he will sit down and watch. And that is me. I try to be, Shepino, I just call myself the justice man. If it, as I told you, Lasana, if it wrong for you, it wrong for me. Sheppy knows that sometimes games going on and a referee give a bad decision for the opposition. And I correlate like if it's my team, because I know tomorrow that decision could come against me. So I want the referee to get it straight. Play to the rules. Don't give nobody no advantage. Play to the rules. So this is how it went.
So you saw a change in Levi once he was back. What kind of personality Levi had as a youngster?
Quiet. He's from a Christian family. So he's not one to be obscene or you know, rowdy or that kind of thing. Very, very mature, quiet, don't speak much. You know, most, but aggressive. All of them, they're aggressive in play. Very aggressive, but off the football field, a perfect gentleman. If you want me to go over to Julien now, you still have questions?
No, we can go to Keston. What's Keston's story?
Keston similar. You'll seldom hear Keston speak. You will seldom hear him speak. I first met him at Presentation College because Dunson told me, he said, boy, you have this youngster at W Connection, he really looking good. He say if he comes under your hand, you know, he could develop into a good player. And he came into the school and we worked with him, very talented. You know, sometimes we were very gifted on the left-hand side. One of Sheppy or Barney better players, Daniel Hospitales.
Yeah.
Left footer also. So we had Daniel and we had Keston. So we could have afforded to put Keston at left midfield because he loved overlapping. You know, what I had to do with him is get him to defend a little more because he was so good on the ball. He was so good on the ball and mature. He was a mature player. So, you know, it wasn't a surprise to me him going the full distance. It wasn't a surprise. It's just that, you know, for him to come out into the big life because he's from Gasperillo, you know, a small community, you know, just like Gray, the goalkeeper. You know,
So
all of
very
them
good.
are
Okay.
yeah, all of them are from Gasperlo, a small community there. So very, very quiet lad. Nice guy too. Good personality, you know, willing to listen, no back talk, you know. So, you know, those two guys, because of their personality, I think they are coachable. They are coachable, so they will reach far.
Mhm. And when they got to the CONCACAF challenge, right? First of all, like if you can give me an idea how you prepare your team to face that the faster speeder play. And then was there anything with Keston and Levi at that level where they kind of stood out for some reason or the other?
Well, the Central American teams, they don't like you to play in their face. You see, from the time you pull off of them and they get into a passing rhythm and they start playing their patterns, it's very difficult at the youth level to be on the defensive and that transition go at them. So we try to get the guys very fit and mentally strong. So we had a saying, if you don't want to keep the ball, you must be fit enough to run it down.
Mm-hmm.
But that group were talented individuals. So we just had to get them as a group to blend. And we took them to Costa Rica. And I think that is where the ice broke. When they went to Costa Rica and they played a couple games against the young professionals in Costa Rica. You know, we are Trinidadians. If a Trinidadian goes to New York, you wouldn't even know if he was living there 25 years, 1 day, 3 months. He fits into the society, the community so well, you know. So he adapts. We are adaptable. So playing a number of games against them, we started getting accustomed to their patterns of play, their style, the short passing, you know, body checking. They do a lot of body checking. They try to outnumber you at the sides of the field with wall passes. You know, they try to get into some nice little triangles, suck in at one side and then play the ball to the blind side, like how Manchester getting killed on Luke Shaw's side right now, you know. So they're getting everybody to collapse on one side, and then when the wing backs overcompensate, they come over, or they actually pushes their two wing backs right up the field and then tuck the 7 and 11 inside. So they actually have, you know, but what went on is that, you see, I went on to the national squad and I was like a sponge, because back in those days was Hudson Charles, Mike McComey, and then Anton. So, you know, McComey and I always used to be roommates. So, you know, I used to soak in, as I said, as a sponge, brainstorming, talking with Mike and you know, because Mike was coaching Joe Public at that time. So he was actually a senior coach coaching youth football, although he was a young guy. Yeah. So I got a lot of information from him, and I tried to put it into proper perspective of the game. So I used to be sitting at the side because Mike will be the first assistant, I'm the second assistant. So I used to kind of take myself away from them and actually watch the patterns I play. So being an assistant to Anton in 2008 or 2009 at a CONCACAF, we made a lot of tours in the Central American area. So, you know, I got accustomed to how they play, the style of play. So we knew, and the boys knew how to play them. So when they're looking for us to back off of them, we started putting pressure on them. And with the skill of Levi and those guys and Cicharan and Garcia, we had Sam, we had Fortune. Fortune was very technical, you know, and we had a good organizer in Creed. Yeah. You know, so we had a very good squad. We had Shannon Gomez was flying down the right side, and then we had Maurice Ford and then you had Archer and Trimmingham in the back. You know, we had a solid team. So we weren't afraid of anyone. So we started pressuring them. And I told people when we came back, we lost 3-0 to Costa Rica in a training game in their center of excellence, where they call their Homa football. And we could have actually won the game 5-3 because Akeem Garcia threw away a number of one-on-ones and the goalkeeper and some other sitters we threw away. So, and then we didn't have Fortune back then. So when Fortune joined the team now, we knew we had a team that we could have competed again with them. You know, so it's all about, you know, we talk about recycling coaches, but the more you coach is the more you learn. You'll be better for the next opportunity, because you will have experience that the other man would not have. You know, so even though it's for continuity's sake, you look at the Brazilians. Zagallo took Pereira. Pereira was the coach before the World Cup before, but he took Pereira as his assistant coach because of the experience. But we think when a coach didn't do well, you move the whole staff. And this is what we got to realize with the Mexicans, because we were there for a number of years, and then we realized that every time we seen the same Mexican staff. So when we ask them how you all do it, they say, well, we go from 13s to 20s and come back again to teens and go up to 15, 17, 20, and then they're making the circle. So they have a group of experienced coaches working with the boys year in, year out. So they have the experience in playing in these tournaments. So sometimes now you put a new coach, he is actually, you know, now learning to swim going into that tournament without anybody experience around them.
Makes sense. Any question, Barney?
No questions, but just to add
I'm
to
making
that,
sure I listen to music or something there.
You hear me?
I'm making sure I'm listening to music or something in the
Right.
headphones. There.
No, it's football. It's football, so I was listening. Just to add to it, I personally believe that well, not me personally, from looking around and watching, your coaches at the lower levels have to be very good, you know, because they have to produce or mold what the coach at the senior level is going to work with. When a player gets to a senior level, when you have the senior players, there's very little. Cooper could tell you in conversations we had with Hart, when Hart complaining that at this level, a defender don't know how to show a man inside or outside. That is something that Hart being senior coach then, coming to work with the national team in a window, don't have time to fix. That is something that boy should have learned, or girl should have learned from U13, U15, U17 coming up the road, so that when they get to the senior level, they are the finished product. So I just add into what Cooper saying about coaches, about this talk about recycling coaches. Yes, you want some fresh ideas, but the coach needs to have, the more you coach is the better you get at coaching. For all the people, I know it are real people who sit down and watch EPL and they know all the answers, right? You don't. You don't. When you go to coach, coaching is a transfer of knowledge. So you could see things, but you can't communicate things. The more you work at your craft, the more you work.
Is the more you could my head said dead on my baby. Is the better you could transfer that information. So that I just backing up what Cooper saying that recycling coaches talk. You need to look at that carefully, because I'm telling you from experience. Me, 2 years ago, what I knew and how I could deliver it, and me now, is two different people. And back then, I was sure I know what I say and I know what I'm doing. I was sure what saying and I'm doing. No one know that, hey, you could have delivered that better. And when you coach more, you start to critique yourself and you start to see where you could deliver a message better, where you could adjust the training in a certain way to pull something out of it. The manual might tell you, yes, it had to be this by that size and that. But you realize from working with players, hey, if a player this level, this grid could be smaller to make it a little more intense. Might be a little bigger to pull out something else. So yeah, I just backing up what Cooper saying there in terms of that recycling talk.
But looking at recycling, all over the world coaches are recycled. And they are recycled for a reason.
Cooper, you coaching way longer than me and at higher levels than me and everything, right? But there's a look at Trinidad and look at I suppose it comes from a background in IT, my technical background, but I always look at what the best doing and then compare to what you doing. And Trinidad is a mad place. Trinidad is definitely a mad place. Just look at our idea of youth development. The whole world says, let us get more people playing. The more people you get playing is a wider pool. That wider pool, you will get more talent coming from that pool, and then you could work with that talent. Trinidad said, no, don't do that. Let us get one group, develop that. We go win. You just had to look at these things. Our approach to the whole thing is different, and Trinidadians have this way that they know. They have a little bit of information, but they know everything, and the rest of the world needs to get in line with what we're doing but brothers, we on the cutting edge everything here. We on the cutting edge, and the world going in the wrong direction. I don't know.
But you see, it's what you know. It's what you know. Plenty of us look at the finished product outside, and we talk about 16-year-olds outside playing, but watch at that 16-year-old pathway to a professional footballer and look at our pathway. It's two different pathways.
Yeah.
You know, so the judge, and then again, things I look at being in the program. When you see a foreign coach comes, and I always say this, I would like to see Pep go on the same budget like Watford, like Brentford, and let me see him coach.
No.
That level player.
I think he could still succeed. I want to see Pep. I want to see Pep come and work with TTFA. Yeah, I want him to do that. I want to see him come and work. I hold on. I want to see him take a team to CONCACAF. I want to see him take a team to CONCACAF that has no training games, no transport,
I disagree with you there, Barney, because let me tell you why. From the time he comes, like every other foreign coach, he will get every living thing he asks for.
No. What I'm saying is let him do it under the same constraints as a local coach.
That's right.
That is what I mean.
Yes. Agree with that.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
And let me tell you, to add to this, Cooper, and you, I suppose there's something that Lasana will pull out here later on, but I have been to a number of courses all over the place. I've been to a number of workshops all over the place. And when you talk with coaches, like I am talking to a guy who is UEFA B licensed here, who I coached against in a recent game. UEFA B license, AFC A license, and AFC and UEFA, same way, Confederation top badges, right? When you talk to these guys and when you go on courses with these guys, you know what you realize? But wait now, these fellas ain't no more than you. These fellas, men coming to you to ask you, hey, you could break down this summer, you could do this summer thing, because they realize from on the course, hey, this fella knows his apples and oranges now, right? So I don't think Trinidad has a problem with at the top with the better coaches. I don't think we have a problem there. However, our public, it is so.
Well, not just the public.
I'll say with the
Employers
public.
too. Well, the employers too, right? If they're gonna say that they don't have the trust in you, the employers too.
No. I wasn't going to say trust. I'll get to trust. Trust is one thing. Our public is so uneducated as far as it goes with football development that they watch at Man City senior team, Mares and all of them, and try to compare that with a QRC and a St. Mary's and making comments like, well, he didn't win 2 games, so you see how they do it on the EPL. If he win that 3rd game, he had to go. Yeah, they could buy a striker in the EPL. You can't buy a striker in SSFL football. When you go to developed countries like Spain or whatever, and you listen to the players and the public talk about football, you realize that we here, where everybody in Trinidad is a football coach. And the nuts man when you walk into a game, telling you what you're supposed to do, right? But when you listen to our public and you listen to others and you listen to people around the game, you realize that on a general, our public don't know. And the last thing I will say, just to crystallize this, in 2017, in 2018, a parent at a school that I coach in the past, right? A parent called me and had a conversation with me because probably the defensive scheme that we wanted to use that year was something that we had done work and we'd seen that Liverpool was using that now, a certain trapping system, right? And we wanted to implement that. And the parent called me, I'll never forget this conversation, to tell me that we had to be mad because club can't defend, right? Club can't defend. And club teams, this guy set up goals. So we mad. Now, only hearing that, right? This is a man who his job is in our bread company.
No, but Lasana, my thing is, why are you entertaining these conversations?
No, listen. Sometimes, Cooper, your phone is ringing when you're in the bathroom and he's had up and he's trying to answer it, you just get caught off guard. I say some injury or something about the boy you calling me to tell me about. But that is the level of football ignorance that we have, and we walk proudly showing our ignorance. We walk proudly with our chest in the air, showing our ignorance at that level.
Well, 2-story ignorance, right?
Well, I was
2-story ignorance. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I was told something, Sheppy, and I don't know if I ever told you that. Coming back from I think it was Mexico. Coming back from Mexico, I was sitting between Anton and Mike, and I asked that said question, and Anton told me, say, you do not discuss football in the coaching aspect with a parent or someone who is not a coach, because the depths you will go, they will not understand. So you're going to be banging your head on a wall, trying to convince somebody who does not want to be convinced. Correct. So it doesn't make sense. You discuss football with a coach or somebody who have the understanding of the game. Otherwise, don't waste your time.
Yeah, I don't really talk football with Lasana, I don't really talk football with him much. I don't talk with him much. He's talk journalism with me because
Well, Sheppy, when he speak to me, well, he probably fooling me, because when he's speaking to me, he sounds like he understands the game and he knows what he's speaking about.
Cooper, he's called me first. Well,
Coops, I was going to go into the tactical masterclass I did before sitting the game against Shagona's North, but I don't feel you need to go there today,
Cooper, okay, that one off here, but the man had one shot. The man do one piece of scouting and had one shining moment, boy, and the world had to suffer for it now, boy.
When I finish break down that team, yeah, Shappy had the easiest job ever preparing for that game.
Well, sometimes, Lasana, all you need is one piece to finish the puzzle, you know.
And I gave about 30 pieces to put together everything.
Yeah. But at that point in time, you put together the whole puzzle.
You ever win a game and regret it, boy?
So
that's what's going on with me, right? That's what's going on with me since that game. Upset.
So Coops, tell me, what was your biggest challenge, if you could remember, as a national coach at any level? What was the biggest challenge?
I think it was with the ladies.
The ladies, okay.
I think it was with the ladies.
Now, I know you took this job as context. You were assistant anthem at CFE level. And then right after the CONCACAF tournament, it would have been about maybe 2 months later.
Yes,
about a month and a half.
Oh, less than that.
Right. Yeah, they took over the women.
About a month.
Okay,
Yeah.
what were the challenges then?
Hold on, Cooper. That was what year? That was 2018 or something.
That was 2018.
2018. Right.
Not 2019?
Nah.
No, 18.
Okay. All right.
I remember why it was 18. That's when Johansen and them were there as well.
Yeah, 2018.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
2018.
Okay. Yeah, talk about the challenges then.
I think the challenge wasn't so much on the football field, but it was off the football field. Because again, dealing with senior players, just like you asked about the men, they weren't sure about me, because first time they were working under me. Because before it was with Danton, and then it was with me. That is one. And two, they had a issue with John Williams concerning the match fees and the monthly stipends and that sort of thing. And I think that was a major factor that I had to deal with. And it never really manifested itself into actually going flat out and playing a football game.
Because it was an unhappy squad. They left unhappy. The whole environment was unhappy. I think they were promised certain things from the coach they had before, Carolina, and she put certain things in place, and then it was cut. So what happened is that it had girls who were working stop working because now they had to be, she wanted them kind of way full time on the field, and they were getting a stipend, and then that stipend cut. So now they left their job and the stipend not coming in, and some of them had kids, some of them, So every day it was an issue. Every day it was an issue. And then, the senior is a different rapport when you're dealing with men and women. So they're a little more sensitive in certain areas, certain things. So you have to be careful. You could talk plain with a man, but with the woman now, you have to, it's just like a woman at home. You don't get them upset because they could be very grumpy. Afraid to even nod my head, Cooper. That's why I keep my head straight right now.
Were you trying to do like that, boy?
Yeah, watch me. I've seen him kind of trembling.
Afraid to move my head, right?
Right off camera, that's somebody waiting.
Well, watch me. He could give me a little Moscow, A little Moscow. Yeah, but those were the issues, and then some players were available, and then you get to find out some players were told, well, they don't have to come, and it was a whole set of mix-up, but me being the cool character and experience with that, they couldn't fluster me.
Cooper, let me stop you a minute there. When you say some players were told that they don't have to come to what, the training?
No, they were told it have some players were in the US doing their last exam. And some of them were trying to get their exam either pushed forward or something. And then I was told, a little birdie called me aside and say, hey, yeah, what's going on? You could get this player if you want them, I say, really? He say, yeah. He say, I could get the player to call you. And the player called and said, well, coach, what's happening is that I have my last exam here and whatever, and so and so. So, that was the issues, some of the issues, because most of the young girls, the younger set who were going to school, they were at the period where they were doing exams. So some of them couldn't chance not sitting the final exam, and failing.
Right. Yeah.
But we went over there and we were over there about, I think, a week before the tournament. So I told them, well, you're playing, and if you're in shape, because remember we had some girls training in the US because we couldn't bring down everyone. So I told them, if you all were playing and you're in good enough shape, whatever, you have a couple of days to put in some work to get at some level of fitness. But for some reason, because I didn't have contact with the girls, because this was the pool, this is what you have, this one available, that one available, this one not available, that one not available. And I worked with the staff who I had who was around the girls, and we came up with a number. And we went forward.
But again, I know you carried Sheppy as your goalkeeping coach, but the staff, but the staff that was there was the staff that you worked with was basically staff that was in place before. Was the Anton staff or what?
He said people was there. The assistant coach, Daniel was there. Pokemon was there. Who was the trainer? We had a trainer. Yes, the trainer, this youngster, he went Fatima, I think. Rasta. The guy's name in Holland.
Trey, huh?
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Educated guy.
He know his stuff.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they didn't take him on the trip. I don't know why. And I couldn't get into the politics, so they didn't take him. When I asked him why, he communicated with me in a certain way. I say, okay, all right. That bigger than me. I can't deal with that because I already have the girls and who were disgruntled, who didn't want to play. And in the short space of time, we had 8 girls training.
Now
12 injured.
Yeah. Now this does sound anything. It does sound anything like a men's team, because you have a youth, let's say under 17 boys or so. You expect to have all the players except they have an injury or something. You have a men's senior tournament. You have a match window. You have all the players too, right?
Yeah.
So our futsal team could.
Yeah. So this sounds really.
Numbers you calling it futsal numbers. 8 players.
Yeah.
All I could say is that
you barely.
Yeah. All I could say is that maybe CONCACAF, because if in women's football, I'm sure a lot of the other countries, Guyana, St. Kitts, and so on, probably have a lot of players in university too. So maybe CONCACAF themselves should be trying to schedule tournaments during school break.
Right. Well, that was a point when we went to Jamaica, because when we got there in Jamaica, we realized that Jamaica got all the girls from the school and we couldn't get ours. So 2 days before, and you're looking through the door to see if 2 players come in. And you're hearing the next 2 might come tomorrow and 1 might come tonight. And that's how, and you're just looking. So, you couldn't have a comfortable mind or a comfortable plan to go into a game because girls coming in every day, girls coming in, flight delay, they didn't get their visa, and it's from one to the next,
Yeah.
But, that was a challenge, definitely a challenge, because I never had that problem before coaching a team, because as you said, you have your full complement all the time. And now, not only if you have your full complement now, you have a group of disgruntled girls who didn't get their money, who owed, who want this coach to coach them, who want this player to play. And that was the sort of environment. You get up in the morning, you look on the board, you see a big sign, no play, no pay. No pay, no play.
Yeah.
And you are the coach, I just look at the board, that bigger than me, I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
So how this manifests itself on the field, Cooper, in the tournament? How the pre-game talk, the halftime talk, the instructions, the interaction, how that whole thing played out?
Well, it went, again, women are the best keeper of secrets. So,
just blink.
Blink. So you'll go onto the field and this one ain't really rocking with this one. This one have a beef with this one. But all right, let we try to do it. This one really want this next one to play. So I ain't giving 100%. And that sort of thing going on in the field. But I had a coach. So, that's why I was called the big bad wolf. Because
get another name, brother. Because you could get caught up in an investigation.
Peter Milanta, if I take that one.
Yeah, but I am not a wolf, I'm a lion. You forget Prez Lions.
So Cooks, now I know, of course, there was that controversial issue in that tournament. I don't know what you're able or willing to say about it with Kennya Cordner. Now, of course, there's one of the most gifted Tobago women players I've seen, maybe even of all time. She's nearing the all-time scoring record right now. But at the same time, is one of the first players I know who refused to go onto the field with Trinidad and Tobago. For that final game.
Well, let me say something. Just before the game, I think we took them to the mall. We took them to the mall, to free them up, because we're going to play the big game. The big one, everybody likes to play the big game, and the big game is against the US. So we went to the mall, and actually, she and I sat in the same vehicle, and we had a nice chat. We went to the mall, we had a nice chat. She told me she had a game the next weekend, when she goes back and stuff. I don't want to get into too much what went on in that conversation, but we had a conversation. And as I said, she told me X, Y, and Z, and I said, okay, all right. I said, well, if we had that conversation, well, okay, right. So we went in, we had the training session the day before, and then we got to the game. And we heard a big uproar because the team was changing. They just went in the room to started change. And what we did was we normally do the team talk before we leave the hotel. And then well, I don't know what he was. If he was the other guy there who supposed to be, dealing with the head. I don't know if he was a psychologist or what he was,
Yeah.
But I think after the tour, he needed a psychologist to deal with him. because, it was, no, some of the girls was really into it, but then, he went and he started to talk to them and they did the game and, everything the vibes was nice. The vibes was nice. So Sheppy, I and Pokemon went out and we sat and we were hearing that Panama were beating Mexico because Panama had a young team and they were really playing well. And we looking at the game and Mexico couldn't see their way. And next thing you know, Sheppy came and say, "Hey, Shawn.
There's not me. Eh?
This is Jason Shepard. This is Jason Shepard.
Yeah.
The taller of the two.
Slightly lighter.
And the clearer of the two.
Both of us red.
Same pack heights, but the darker of the two were in Trinidad. He was in Trinidad. So I rushed to the dressing room and then she said she's not playing. So I said, okay. You ain't playing. I say, all who willing to play for Trinidad and Tobago. And all the others say, I. And I didn't even ask her why she wasn't playing. It's then after she was upset about I not playing, and I'm not calling the name of the player either. So I didn't start a player who she thought should have started. And I said, okay. I said, but I can't really remember when a player telling our coach who should play and who not to play. So, okay, that is fair enough. And the dressing room got silent and the keeper Forbes, she was really upset because actually she was changed for that game. She didn't start for that game, but she was all for it. She was backing the next goalkeeper. Her enthusiasm was there. And while I was walking to the dressing room, she was outside, saying this stupidness can't happen. It can't happen. It can't happen at this game. This can't happen, And I tell her, I say, cool. I say, I go deal with it, because she was upset about the decision the player made. And when I went in, one of the player coach, Ayana Russell, she got real vocal in the room. And she said, "Ole, we ain't come here for that. We come here to play. We come here to represent the country. We come to represent our people. And we ain't going down like this. We're going down fighting. Who want to play? Who don't want to play? Don't play. Ole say no. And take off all the uniform." She said, "But we going outside there and play." And, everybody, got back a little focus and thing, and strange enough, in warming up, one of the players got injured. And she came off the field and she was in tears. I think that was Keto's wife. She was in tears.
Okay.
Yeah, she was in tears. She said, "I want to play, coach. I want to play. Because I think she pulled some, I don't know if it's a groin or some kind of thing, and she said, "I want to play. And I told a US doctor and I said she could play. He said, if I strap up, she could give you some minutes. I don't know how long she'll play for. And she said, "Coach, strap me up, I'm playing. Because we were already down to numbers because I think King was injured, so it was a makeshift position that she was going into as a stopper. And she said, "Coach, I'm going. I say, "Okay, if you're going, let's go." And she went out there and in about 10 minutes time, she couldn't go no more. And the said player that Yaya wanted to play.
Well, looking back at the team list here, I think I seen that name is Lauren Hutchinson came on in that game. But go ahead.
All right, you called it, not me. You called it, not me.
Yeah.
But if you watch at the team list, are you seeing a next substitution for a player?
I'm gonna look to see. My team list missing some names there.
Yeah, but a substitution was made, had to be made.
Yeah.
You're not seeing the name there?
I got to do some more research. Go on and
Oh,
talk. Go on
Lord,
and talk.
I thought you did that research, man. Listen,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
lapsing there, my man.
Where you sub the sub on?
No, I didn't sub the sub. In
Oh.
about 5 minutes' time, the sub got injured. So, you know, a nice and first time I met her, very nice, respectable young woman. Very, 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 very respectable young woman. You know, the same person name you just called there.
Yeah.
The sub that went on. Very respectable young woman. Very, very, you know, we spoke well with each other and that stuff. And she didn't have an issue. At least she didn't show me she didn't have an issue. But it had a youngster who I think was Stout. You have your team list there. Was it Stout?
That's the one who was in the university?
Right. And that girl came on and had a very, very good game against Mexico. You know, she had a very good game against Mexico. So,
all right,
you know,
Shady Stout, yeah.
Right. And when I saw that girl, I said she has a bright future in this game. You know, very athletic. Similar build to Lauren Hines. Similar build. Just she's dark skin in complexion. Yes. Yeah, Liana Hines. Yeah. Same physique. You know, very muscular and, you know, athletic. And, you know, against America, we needed that because they had some pace and stuff. But anyway, the substitute didn't last. In the first 5 minutes, I saw they made a movement, and then I see them limping. And I told Jason Shepard, I say, she injured, you know. And he say, how you know that? I say experience. And
yeah, Chanel Henry was the sub at halftime.
Right, and she struggled, and then she came off at halftime, and she said, Coach, I can't make. And I say, look how ironic it was. The said person Yaya was fighting for ended up on the pit still, but couldn't finish the game. You know, and it was very unfortunate. You know, it had some bad blood, you know, after the game and stuff, you know. But with me, that wouldn't faze me because I had a lot of more tough experiences in my life, you know, with both parents losing both my parents before I reached the age of 18. So those trials and tribulations really, you know, it was something new to me in football, but it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate. And I think you called me directly when we were, I think we touched down in Piaco, and you called me and I told you no comments.
Probably.
On the situation, you know, because it had a lot of other things that led up to the game that it wasn't professional by some of the players. And, you know, what happened in room stays in room.
Yeah, you want to throw players under the bus.
Yeah, I don't throw players. I am not one to throw players under the bus. So I'll never do that.
Unless Anna is the bus.
Now, is of course that period, this would have been under the David John Williams presidency. And we started to see.
I just want to ask one question before you go on. I'm just interested, that girl, Shady Stout, you said?
Yeah.
Is she in the current pool? How old was she then, Cooper? Is she in the current pool?
She was young.
She
was about 18. She was about 18. But I think it left a bad taste in her mouth, to be quite honest, because after I looked at the body language of the parents and stuff, certain conversations would have been going wrong. Why this one didn't play, and they would have realized it's because she played in front of a senior player, and the, when I tell you this, she would have been one for the future, definitely.
But that's why
I
I'm
hope she's
asking
still
now, because we're not big enough a country to be losing players like that for them kind
No,
of thing.
but you see, if it is that she don't really need the football, if you don't
I
really need the
understand that.
football, you know, you're not going through
That kind of thing.
because
Yeah.
you're not going through that. It
No, I'm
uncalled
not
for,
judging
so
her,
you're
you know.
going through that.
I understand that. I just saying it's sad. It's sad that a nation this size with a women's program that, to be frank, has very few players, a small pool to choose from, that we could be hemorrhaging players of, if she's that quality, to be hemorrhaging players like that. So that's what I say.
I actually just checked, and I don't think, that would have been her last tournament. I don't think she ever played for Trinidad since then.
Is
No,
she playing football at all?
I don't know.
I could have seen it. I could have seen it happening, because it's like I'm American with Trinidad parentage, coming to play for Trinidad, right? Obviously, my chances of playing international football much better trying to play for Trinidad than the US, right? So I'm just drawing up a scenario here. So I come to Trinidad, not knowing too much of people, people telling me I'll be welcome. And then behind the scenes while I'm playing, I hearing senior players making certain comments and that sort of thing, you know? So it will be an uncomfortable scenario or situation for a youngster to deal with. I mean, a more mature player. Yeah, a more mature player, you know, and you're coming among strangers too. It might have been you played for Trinidad already, but you played with the youth team, but now you're coming and you're just meeting senior players. And you're expecting a little comfort, a little cushion from someone, you know, on the senior side. And if you don't get that, you know, I ain't blaming no one, but that scenario I knew left a bitter taste in the family's mouth.
Right. And I just checked Barney. She's a senior at University of Georgia.
That's not a small program.
About to graduate from University of Georgia. Yeah, she's been starting all her games since a freshman. She's been starting all the games for the school.
That's not a small program. And I wonder if under the last administration, prior to normalization, if she would have, it would be interesting. I would try to find out. It would be interesting to see if she was on their radar with their.
She was, because I saw her name came up with Richard Hood, but she didn't play.
Right. So she probably turned down the invitation.
It's possible she did. It's possible she did. Yeah. So that tournament was the last tournament.
Let me
but
say
she's
something.
still young, so there's still time.
When they sent the video on her, and I saw the first 2 minutes, I took off the video and I told them, I say, get in contact with that girl for me, please. Because she had exactly what we needed at that point in time. You know, and I think we're running into the same problem again.
Well, I just sending a shout out to Kenwin and to the current staff, see if we could get our girl back in the loop, so to speak. Make some overtures. We don't have such a large pool that we could be losing players. We don't.
Yeah. No, Shawn, I know you don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but that period. But you coach over a couple of administrations, right? That particular administration, the David John Williams era, even though this was a former employer, double connection and so on. But we saw we
had our fallouts. That's why I left the club.
Okay, because I'm gonna say that we really see a steady decline in the performance of all the teams, including at the women's level when you coach, right? You could shed any light at all in terms of why the national team will consistently performing worse at that time. And I mean, what it was like for you as a coach, because they commented that the women's team had been doing well before that. They were already on a slide at that point in time. So if it is that there were things happening that were affecting the team, it must have been frustrating for the coaches too.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of our discussions with former national youth and women's team coach Shawn Cooper. Tune in for part 2, where Shawn Cooper goes on to discuss his tenure under the David John Williams administration and the issues that he encountered, as well as that big rivalry between Presentation and Naprima, and why it is much bigger than him and any other coach. So tune in and enjoy.
The man going to get the man going to be good.
Yeah.
Hey, air control.
And I tell you went to shave your eyeballs. I'm proud he knows something. And with all of that, the man is look the same, you know. That's I know.
Yeah.
I was trying to draw a parallel for Corey, but he's not a man really into the movies and things. Any movie that have any level of cerebral effort, you know on that now. You know on that. So I'll bounce it off for you. Remember Matrix Part 2?
Yeah.
Right. The new agents and them?
Yeah, I remember. The dreadlocks fella and what.
No, it's still Agent Smith, you remember Agent Smith?
Yeah, but
you remember it had some new agents?
In Matrix too?
Yes, he referred to them as upgrades.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
I remember being upgrade.
You need to go and watch it very sure. Don't bother, it don't make no sense going on with this story. Let's talk about something else. Watch. I just for a minute there understand how a woman might feel when a man Viagra in work. I just get a parallel there. I just happy for a second I can identify with it.
Yeah, well, I know you're about talking from experience there, so I can't contest here.
What about movies? Yeah, sure, movies. Yeah.
You had a couple flat tires already.
Everybody who get vaccinated so far, coach, my arm, I stay on my sleep, and this and that. The next day, I get mine and good as gold. I went training the same night.
Nah, but they really say Potter no get sick, eh? The old people know plenty truth. They know plenty truth.
You could see you sit down with that line for about I know how long. I just wanted to say that. Corey, he doesn't stay on my right line. You know, this evening on the show, I will try to tell Chef.
People like it from the time you hear the track. People like it, put your hand up in the yard. People like it cause you know we don't play this year cause it's all about love.